So I woke up today, I was like, hey, let's think about rating systems. Let's make autistic rating systems. And then I came up with like this fundamentally perfect one. I made an entire video about this rating system, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking spend all evening looking at my fucking annual list, right? Rating everything according to my brand spanking new fucking rating system. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. I can just spend my time autistically working on my fucking annual list, going over all of the mangas and anime I have, re-rating them, making it all perfect, right? Re-rating them, making it all perfect, right? And then, no thank you, that fucking fascist bastard, no thank you, called me out on YouTube.com. I have been called out by no thank you on YouTube.com. Here's my original video, right? Here's my original video. And here's no thank you calling me out, right? I'm in a YouTube beef like it's 2011, so obviously I'm going to have to make a response video, right? Obviously 2011 YouTube beef, no thank you, that's right, let's go. Okay, so let's talk about the two principles that guide my rating scale, right? The two principles that guide my rating scale, right? So the first of these principles, this is the most important, this is the foundational principle. This is the principle of dopamine out or feelings out compared to the amount of time you had to invest in it, right? Compare how much feelings do I get from something in comparison to how much time I invested into it. This is my basic standard for rating, right? If I watched an anime for 8 hours in total, I enjoyed all of those 8 hours on average, like an 8 out of 10 amount, right? That's like an 8 out of 10 anime, right? To me, that's how it works for me, right? I might have enjoyed one episode a 2 out of 10 amount and 5 episodes a 10 out of 10 amount, but it averages out an 8 out of 10. So that's my overall mood during watching the fucking entire anime. My mood told me that anime was an 8 out of 10. No thank you. I was like, you can't go back in time and observe yourself when you're watching the anime. I observe myself constantly. I'm constantly reflecting inwards on my mind. All of my thoughts are a loop back. All of my thoughts are a loop back of a previous thought. I process every thought at least twice, because there's the original thought and then there's my reflection upon the thought. I never have thoughts that I process once. I'm always observing myself. I'm always observing my thoughts. I don't need a fucking time machine, no thank you. No thank you, I don't need a time machine to recognize my thoughts, right? Now here's an important factor to this equation, right? Because no thank you here, that fascist bastard no thank you, who doesn't like my arbitrary numbers, has this thought, right? Has this thought that like, he likes anime that make him think, he likes things that make him think, he likes things that leave a lasting impact. I personally, I'm not that minded towards the lasting impact, right? I'm a momentary fucking pleasure person, right? If I'm enjoying the anime in the moment, I don't really need to think about how fucking retarded it is back in fucking retrospect. I'm only thinking about how I'm enjoying it in the moment I'm watching the anime, right? It's fucking obvious to me. It's fucking obvious to me, right? But this system can accommodate for people like no thank you, who fucking like things in retrospect, right? Because if something leaves an impact, that's time spent, right? You spent the time, right? You spent, like, I don't know, 8 hours on watching Evangelion, 10 hours of watching Evangelion. I don't fucking know how long Neon Genesis Evangelion is. You spent 10 hours on watching Eva, and you thought about Eva for like 30 hours, and you really enjoyed thinking about Eva, so it's a 10. This formula works. I don't consume things in this particular way, but this formula works, right? Then there's the second basis. There's the second basis. The first step is the feelings time, right? That's calibrating your fucking thing. That's how you calibrate your thing. Like, okay, so Ava, you spent 10 hours, you got 40 hours of enjoyment. Naruto, you spent 200 hours, you got 150 hours of enjoyment, and they weren't even that enjoyable, let's say. Let's say that that's how you feel. Let's say that that's how you feel, right? Okay, Naruto, you have to calibrate it towards Ava, right? Okay, Ava, you got a fourth of the enjoyment for a 20th of the time, right? So Ava has given you 5 times more enjoyment per time unit spent in comparison to Naruto, I think. I don't fucking know math. I didn't write it down. And so you can go like, okay, so I know that there's this order of difference, right? There's this magnitude of difference, right? What does this mean, right? So you need to calibrate something that you would not even watch for 200 hours, that would not give you enjoyment, right? That you would not want to watch, right? So you can be like, oh, okay, if I have something I don't want to watch, like, I don't know, fucking, let's say something completely fucking arbitrary, like Sword Art Online, who cares? You really hate Sword Art Online. You don't think that Sword Art Online is literally just a whatever show. You think Sword Art Online is like grievously offensive to you. Okay, Sword Art Online is a 1 out of 10 to you. It's grievously offensive. Okay, and Naruto isn't like it that. Naruto, it's somewhere between fucking Ava and Sword Art Online. It leans more towards Sword Art Online than Ava in your mind, right? This is happening in your mind. Naruto is like either like a 2 to a 4 out of 10, right? Okay, it's a 2 to a 4 out of 10. Okay, then you need one more calibration point. Okay, what's about average? What's about average? What would be about average? I know fucking Dora, let's say, random fucking anime, about average. You watched it, you enjoyed it consistently, nothing about it stood out too much, you didn't get bored. Dora, spent 8 hours in Dora, you got 8 hours of enjoyment, right? And it was decent enjoyment, it was completely average, it kept you from being bored. Let's say that this is the perspective you have towards Dora. Okay, that's a 5. In your mind, Naruto is more like Dora than Sword Art Online. So Naruto, probably a 4. Boom! That's how the fuck you figure out numerical ratings. Okay, let's say something comes along that you like more than Ava. Okay, Ava was a 10 before. Ava was like the bar that was set for everything. Okay, let's say you watch NHK. Let's say you watch Welcome to the NHK. That's the best thing I've ever seen. Okay, that's now a 10. Ava is now a 9. Naruto is now a 3. Dora is still a 5, let's say. Okay, let's say you find something better. You watch Serial Experiments Lane. Okay, that's a 10 to you, right? NHK is now a 9. Ava is now an 8. Dora is now a 4. Naruto is now a 2. Sword Art Online is still a 1. Because it's not about an absolute scale. It's about what's the best and what's the worst. That's what it's about. That's the feelings you get out of it compared to the thing, right? So here I have to bring out examples, right? Like, no thank you, fascist no thank you. Who wants to kill communists, according to no thank you, right? Said, funny games didn't make me happy. How would I rate funny games when it didn't make him happy, right? Natsuno Zenjutsu, one of the 2 10s I have given the manga, did not make me happy. Natsuno Zenjutsu did not make me happy. I read it, it enthralled me, and then it put me into an existential crisis for like a fucking week. Natsuno Zenjutsu made me absolutely miserable. Why is it a 10? Because I enjoyed the specific feelings it gave me. They made me like recontextualize my life. They made me understand emotions better. They made me understand how humans feel the emotions they do better than I fucking like could have imagined that it like could, right? That's why Natsuno Zenjutsu is a 10 for me, because it completely reframed the way I view the world. Okay, so my fucking anything upwards of 80 did not change, right? All of these ratings are still reliable. So we can go over all of them, right? We can go over all of these fucking ratings, right? Except I'm just gonna go over like the top fucking things I can attend to, right? Why is Mushishi 2 points above Natsuno Zenjutsu? Because I think it executes upon the same theme better, right? Because Mushishi did not give me like existential nightmares or misery or anything like that. Mushishi was just like this like really cool fucking journey, right? Mushishi was just this like journey of self-discovery when fucking Ginko had to figure out who he is and like what his place in the world is, right? So it has similar themes because everything like has similar themes, right? But like the point is that I feel overall Mushishi gave me more positive feelings. It didn't send me into a fucking existential crisis for a week. But I enjoyed it while I was reading it. It put me in a trance state. It really made me feel like it captured a part of me that I didn't really even like recognize something could capture, right? It had all of these cool concepts. It had all of these cool events and characters and stories, right? It's basically a collection of fairy tales. Okay, so given that this is true, right? Why is Mushishi 2 points above Natsuno Zenjutsu? Because I could conceptualize something that's like right between Natsuno Senjutsu and Mushishi, because I know of something that's right between Natsuno Senjutsu and Mushishi. It's Serial Experiments Lane, right? I don't think it's quite as strong in the overall, like, aesthetic. It doesn't resonate with me as strong as Mushishi does. It's geared towards a different type of person, right? Mushishi is geared towards, like, a type of person like me, right? So, that's a fucking... Serial Experiments Lane is between Natsuno Senjutsu and Mushishi because I recognize it gave me more to think about. It gave me more to experience and more to feel, and it was more unique for me than Natsuno Senjutsu was. But, like, it didn't capture me in the specific way that Mushishi captured me. So it's between Natsuno Senjutsu and Mushishi. I can recognize all three of these as great works of art, right? I can recognize all three of these as great works of art, and I know in which order I would rank them. And since I know what order I would rank them, like, my favorite is Mushishi, then it's Lane, then after that it's Natsuno Senjutsu, right? I know the order in which I would rank them. So I can just rank them in that order, and that's the basis for the rating scale. That's how I know what numbers they are, okay? Oh, I don't have a 99. How can Aizoken be 100 and Mushishi be a 98? Where's your 99? I don't need a 99, because Aizoken is just that much better than anything else I've seen. Mushishi doesn't come close to Aizoken when it comes to, like, how great something is. I have never experienced something that's as good as Aizoken, which is why it's 100. It's a baseline for everything else. Aizoken is the best thing I've ever seen. Aizoken is the best piece of art I have ever experienced. So it's 100. It sets the bar. If I see something equivalent to Aizoken, it's gonna be 100. If I see something better than Aizoken, Aizoken will have to be a 99. And I'll have to reframe my entire fucking ranking system if the top part is fucking dethroned, right? And, like, that's how it should work. Because it's all relative. It's all relative. It's all relative to your feelings. It's all relative to each other. That's how it all works. Like, oh, how can I compare, like, Hidamari's sketch, Hoshimite specials, and what manga have I? Hanma Baki. These are as different as things can be. Hanma Baki, right, is just, like, masterwork. It's a culmination of 2 fucking entire arcs. It's a culmination of years of work. And it's just, like, the most fucking off-the-walls, insane action show with big muscly guys, right? How can I compare Hanma Baki to Hidamari sketch, Hoshimite specials, right? Because Hidamari sketch, Hoshimite specials is like this grand work, right? It's also like this grand work. It culminates upon, like, 3 seasons of Hidamari sketch and 2 specials, and it ends up with, like, this, like, really cute tone where you can leverage the character development. They have, like, these really comfortable and confident arcs, and it can surpass some other Hidamari sketch, like the previous Hidamari sketch, because you've had the entire, like, Hoshimite series, you've had, like, all of these good things, like the episodes and specials, like the 3 episodes, I think. I don't fucking remember how many episodes, but they're good. I remember, like, some of them vaguely, but it doesn't matter, right? Okay, how can I compare Hidamari sketch to Hanma Baki? How can I give them the same exact score on my fucking scale? Okay, okay, how do I do it? Okay, I know that Hidamari sketch 365 specials I like more than Hoshimite, right? Because this has, like, the same effect as the Hidamari sketch Hoshimite specials, except it leverages on a tighter, stronger cast of characters, which is why I like it more. Oh, but I like Honeycomb even more. I like Honeycomb even more because it can do the same thing that specials did, but it can make a larger cast of characters as tight, as strong, and it can create a more compelling dynamic, even though it has more characters, because it relies less heavily on experimentation, which overall gives the narrative some more strength, and that's I really like it. I like it more than fucking the K.N. movie. What do you compare the K.N. movie with? Oh, I know what I'm gonna compare the K.N. movie with. I'm gonna compare it with Lifehouse. What am I gonna compare Lifehouse with? I'm gonna compare it to the specials, right? It's self-reinforcing. It's all self-reinforcing, right? Oh, but I like the fucking Sahiro Satsuki's fucking hen way more than I like Honeycomb, according to the scale, right? I like it by 7 entire points more, because I know I like this more than the Haruhi movie, and I know I like the Haruhi movie more than Honeycomb, right? I know that this is the order that I ranked them, right? And since, we brought the Haruhi movie, okay, Haruhi movie, I can compare this to like a grander narrative story, right? I can compare the Haruhi movie to like a grander narrative story. I can compare the Haruhi movie to fucking Mob Psycho 102, right? It's all self-reinforcing. I can compare these two. They're valid comparisons I can make between the Haruhi movie and Mob Psycho 102, right? They're completely valid comparisons, right? I'm just gonna compare them, and I have a sense of distinction. Now I have a sense of distinction, right? I can compare Mob Psycho 102 fucking to Dorohedoro. I can compare Dorohedoro to Devilman Crybaby. I can compare Devilman Crybaby. I can compare Devilman Crybaby to Holy Land. I can compare Holy Land to Shigurui. I can compare Shigurui to Mushishi and fucking Dorohedoro. I can compare fucking Mushishi to Natsuno Senjutsu. I can compare I can compare Natsuno Senjutsu to fucking Bonoshi and Shimemami Tasakata. I can compare all of these things. There's so many comparisons I can make. I can compare Shigurui to Shimemami Tasakata and fucking Kingdom, right? And then I can compare Kingdom to Hanmabaki. I can compare Hanmabaki to fucking Holy Land. I can compare all of this. I can compare all of this. And then it's self-reflective comparisons. I'm comparing things inside of myself until I have the scale. Because this scale is derived from me comparing things inside myself. And now I know relatively where I want to rank things, right? It's all fluid. No, thank you. Understand that it's all fluid. It's all a series of liquids and gases. It's all fluid. It's like the fucking storms of Jupiter up in this bitch, right? Nothing here is set in stone. It's all just relative. It's all just relative to the underlying ranking system. Because this rating system is built upon a ranking system. Because my manga list is just a ranking of how much I like each manga, right? Oh, there are ties. There are some ties. That's what the rating system does. It means that there's some ties, right? There's some ties. And since I have enough resolution, right? I have basically a 200-point rating system. So I have enough resolution to be confident in the ranking of the things, right? How can I compare fucking Chief Keef Don't Like to Mushishi? Because I would give them both a 98. How can I do it? I'm gonna have fucking rhizomes. Figure it out. Okay, there are other things I wanted to address. Okay, how would I compare Sistine Chapel and Apple, right? Okay, let's look at the Sistine Chapel. What has the fucking Sistine Chapel done to me? What has the fucking Sistine Chapel done to me, right? What the fuck has the Sistine Chapel done to me, right? Let's go look at the fucking Sistine Chapel. I think this art is pretty. I have not been to the actual Sistine Chapel. I don't know how pretty it would be in real life, right? I don't know how pretty the Sistine Chapel would be in real life. But looking at it from these pictures, I'd give it like a solid 8 to a 9, right? That's how much I would give the Sistine Chapel. When's the last time I ate an apple? Let me wonder. Probably a while ago, because I don't really enjoy apples. What would I rate an apple? Like a 5 or 6 out of 10, right? How did I come across these ratings, right? It's the fucking rhizomes. No, thank you. You understand rhizomes. You should know, because the Sistine Chapel, I can compare the Sistine Chapel to works of art I really like. What would I consider like an 8? Fucking Coco no Hita, I would consider an 8. Like, what type of emotion does the Sistine Chapel fill me with? It's the same type of emotion that fucking Coco no Hita does, let's say. It's both relatively similar. I can compare them. What would I compare an apple with? What could I compare an apple with? What kind of emotion does an apple give me, right? What kind of emotion does an apple give me? Let's figure out. Because apple gives me the emotion of something I dropped, right? An apple, because I dropped an apple. I don't like eating apples. I dropped apples. I drop apples like a Isaac motherfucking Newton. It gives him like Hitori, Coke, and Nikki vibes, right? The lesbian fucking diary fucking shit vibes. Because I can see why someone would enjoy an apple, but it's personally not my specific thing. It makes me kind of uncomfortable. An apple makes me uncomfortable because it's too hard. And the skin is too sharp on my teeth. That's when apple makes me uncomfortable. That manga makes me uncomfortable because it's too personal, and I don't really like things that are that intensely personal, because I've had enough of that in my fucking life. That's how I fucking compare these things. Rhizomes! No thank you, it's about the rhizomes, no thank you. Also tens, right? Yeah, I addressed the tens. Tens aren't the perfect thing. It's not 1,000 out of 1,000. It's what rounds up to 10 in your scale, right? If your scale, you have decided that 9.6 rounds out to 10 and an 8.6 rounds out to 9. If that's what you have decided, then a 9.6 rounds up to 10. Right? That's how it works. That's how it works. It's what you decide how to round, right? It's how you decide to round things, no thank you. It's about how you decide to round things, no thank you. That's all it is. A 10 is just a rounding, right? I'm not gonna say the nuts and essentials is a perfect 1,000 out of 1,000. I wouldn't even say that Azokin is a perfect 1,000 out of 1,000. I'd say that Azokin is like a 997 out of 1,000. But that rounds up to 100, which rounds up to a 10. That's why Azokin is a 10 out of 10. No, thank you. Do you see? No, thank you. Do you see the rhizomes? No, thank you. Are you seeing the rhizomes? No, thank you. Okay, so real quick, I have the video here, right? I forgot to address one final point that I need to address, which is the entire concept that rating scales is somehow, like, having your own personal rating scale is somehow comparable to, like, some supposedly objective force with power rating things, right? Because it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. If you're rating things, right, you're not giving someone an assessment, right? Your rating scale isn't giving an artist an assessment unless you're literally giving an artist an assessment, right? If someone shows me their video, right, that they've worked hard on, like, I'm not gonna go like, oh, it's a 3 out of 10. Because that's fucking fascist and bad. If it's a 10 out of 10, I might say it's a 10 out of 10, right? If it's a 9 or an 8 out of 10, I might even say it's a 9 or an 8 out of 10. Like, oh wow, this is an 8 out of 10 fucking album, and it's your first album. You really outdid yourself. This is targeted at me because I think my fucking 21st Century Schizoid Raps album is like an 8 out of 10 album, and I really outdid myself, right? So if someone said that, right, fucking, this is just to clarify, I'm not talking about Starman's fucking Antitotal Love Me Still, which is a strong 9 to a light 10, right? There's no point of comparison there, because Starman's first album, mind-blowing, that's some great shit that's down in the fucking description just because I want to promo that fucking album. Anyway, having your own personal rating scale doesn't entail bringing someone else down, or entail making someone feel worse about their art, or trying to make someone, like, put their art on, like, a structure that other people put their art on, right? No, it's just organizing your own thoughts about art, right? It has no relation to systematic fucking problems with, like, objectively trying to assess art via, like, fucking letter grading and shit. There's no relation. It's completely unrelated. These are two completely separate things. No fucking relation, right? Because your rating scale is just for your own data management. It's not for anyone else. Okay, that's it.